Good morning and welcome back to my daily resilient mindset videos, which is now week 4 of these actually. And today I want to focus on the topic of being present. Now, there was some famous research done by Harvard which found that our minds wander 47% of the time. So 47% of the time we're not actually focused on the moment. When we're talking to somebody, engaged in something, our mind is wandering elsewhere. Now, where does your mind wander? And this is without situation that we're currently facing. Our mind typically will wander into the past and into the future rather than being present. So when we go into the past, then we start to ruminate about things that happened, why we should have done them differently, getting unsettled about what we did, why it went wrong, all those kind of things, just playing over and over those, feeling guilty about things. It could be a number of factors. But here's the thing about things in the past. Once we've taken the learning from a situation, there's absolutely nothing that we can do about the past. So there is no point in staying there. As I said, once you've got, I'm a great believer in reflection, but once you've done some actual productive reflection, you've taken some lessons, move forwards. So we spend a fair bit of our time in the past. The other place we spend our time, and I've got to admit that this is an area that I'm more guilty of, and you can imagine what it's like for me and many of you out there with this at the moment, which is anxiety about the future. And there's a lot of great quotes about this kind of thinking, isn't there? I think there's a famous one by Mark Twain that said that I worried about a lot of things in the future, some of which actually happened. And obviously the key point here is we spend a lot of unproductive time worrying about things in the future that we can't really control and never even come to reality anyway. Now, again, some future-based thinking is important because you need to actually think about scenarios and risks that could be ahead, particularly in this current situation, some planning, some strategy. But once you've done some purposeful planning, and I like to call some of this as well, if then else planning. So think about things that could happen and what will you do in those scenarios. Have a plan for it, have a plan of action or a behaviour that you'll conduct if this happens, but then get back in the present again. Most of us spend way too much time stuck in the future, worrying about a lot of things that may be way off in the future, and a lot of things. The current situation, for example, is changing by the day. So if you get too anxious about what might happen, you may find that next week it's completely changed anyway. So here's the key lesson from today and from that Harvard study as well. Get yourself more present moment focused, whether that's if you're speaking to somebody, particularly if you're a leader and you're engaging with your team. Get more in the present. Be focused on the conversation that is going on. Give people your full attention. That can be all areas of your life. Stop going back into the past and thinking about, what if all this hadn't happened and we had a great plan for this year and it's been thrown up in the air. All of these things that you can't do anything about. As I say, get the lessons and move back into the present. Also, if you're finding yourself getting really anxious and focusing on all things that could happen in the future, again, get a plan, get a strategy, have some if then else planning in place for what you'll do in certain scenarios. But then again, get back to the present. More than ever at the moment, we need to take things one day at a time. Do the thing that's right one day at a time and be more present focused. Have a great start to the week, and I'll be back tomorrow.